and Warrior, and Portex is running around with a Warlock, Druid, or Warrior also. And for this match, we actually have SineX point of view. We could show you Portex point of view, but as you maybe have read in the chat, he was at his dad's house and he had some crazy computer with crazy settings. He's actually blaming his dad now that his recording didn't work, but that's okay. You cannot see his cards and everything during the recording, so we're just showing you SineX side here. It's a control warrior, the mid-range one, like KitKatzy built it or is playing it at the moment with 2 Krokons. Maybe there's some brawl in, maybe not. That's always a question. And we see a German version of HearthStone.
Nice.
Haven't seen one. He's saying Grüße. Grüße. We're gonna say every German sentence now.
Hinrichten.
Hinrichten. Go. Does he actually have? Oh God. I'm just saying. Oh God. SineX actually has a German card names too.
Yeah.
I haven't seen.
Die Münze.
I haven't seen one German Hearthstone. Like, I'm playing this game around 1 bazillion hours already, and I haven't seen one German Hearthstone in my career by now.
See,
that could be an interesting last match here, seeing all those German cards. So that's pretty annoying. Unbound Elemental against what SineX has here. He kind of needs to coin out his Krokon Elite to get rid of that, and he does, obviously. So if he's not doing it, he's kind of screwed. So that minion gets stronger and stronger. This is like the Shaman minion, the Shaman minion. You're getting it out. Lightning Bolt, Spirit Wolves, more Overload. Go crazy. Play your weapon. Yeah, Stormforged X. I'm always thinking about Rockbiter. I'm always thinking about Rockbiter. I want to say Stormforged X. I need to play more Shaman in ladder. This matchup goes slightly in the favor of Control Warrior, I would say, in this version.
Especially with Geddon.
If he has Geddon and if he has a Brawl. You need, like, some players say you don't need a Brawl if you don't have Sylvanas, but that makes no sense for me. So if a Shaman plays Spirit Wolves and has 2 more, like this, so there's Ferrous Spirits, he plays 1 more minion plus a Totem, and you have a Brawl, that's so much value, you cannot imagine. But SineX has a Fiery Wind-Axe, no problem. Can clear everything. That's always what you want to see. He plays Ferrous Spirits, you play X, and just kill both Ferrous Spirits. You take some damage, but in the end it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
The good thing is he's not wasting a turn, but 1 turn is going away for him. That's always good.
I think he's gonna play the Kokron now.
Well, you kind of need to. And there's actually a Karen that's good to see. It could get interesting with the faces for SineX.
Yeah, especially since 1 Earthshock is already used. So
yeah, that could turn out good.
That will force a Hex.
And it's really important, if you play against a Shaman, you need to deny his card draw. And that's the #1 thing to do. A Shaman runs out of card often. You're going to have a long game against him. And you need to rob him that card advantage. You cannot let him draw cards with his Mana Tide Totem. If you have the opportunity, kill it. It doesn't matter if it costs you a lot, but that totem needs to die instant or it's just getting out of control. And if you don't want to have one thing, then it's a Shaman going out of control.
Yeah, there comes again.
But if he gets hexed, that would be extremely annoying. If you lose that minion to a hex now, you're actually getting thrown back quite hard. What do you want to do against it? So you could play... you could play Slam plus Acolyte of Pain, Whirlwind. You don't want to play your Geddon. You want to keep Geddon for late game. So
you want to use Geddon to clear the board.
Correct. And if Portex had an Hex...
Would have used it immediately without thinking so long?
Well, normally...
Never mind.
Well, he just used it with thinking along, but it still turned out to be the same. That's super sad for SineX now. As we said, he kind of needs to slam the Azure Drake now, armor up, end his turn, and then play Geddon next turn, for example. Go some crazy turn 8 Geddon.
What about Slam Whirlwind? Slam, like Acolyte of Pain, slam the Flame Tongue, Whirlwind.
But in my opinion, you need to you can kill the Flame Tongue, but you need to slam the Azure Drake to get rid of it next turn with a Geddon maybe. And if you use Whirlwind, definitely drop your Acolyte of Pain. That's correct.
Well, you can still use your Acolyte next turn to...
That's correct. Yeah, you can draw even more cards.
And you get him low to 2 HP.
Or you
To use the Geddon.
Yeah, if he leaves your minion alive, or if he's not going for Fire Elemental, ping it away. So that's true. Agree there with you. And if he plays Ferrous Spirits, he even makes it better because you could Whirlwind Geddon. Well, you cannot Whirlwind Geddon then.
No, since
That's the main problem with the Whirlwind play now. If he follows up with Ferrous Spirits, you cannot go Power Geddon, destroy everything.
Well, let's put it that way.
But if you don't,
your play is safer, but you take 5 more damage.
That's correct. And well, he gets a Crew Taskmaster.
Doesn't matter with Geddon.
Zuchtmeister.
Fiesen Zuchtmeister.
No, you have to say it with an English accent, or you're not doing it right. It makes no sense.
But it's German.
Yeah, so you're speaking English here. No one said you're allowed to do full German. Behave. Good. There's as we said, it's looking okay for SineX, but still I would say Portex is here in the stronger position. Even though there's a Geddon coming, if that Geddon dies, you do not have the option to go crazy mode on all his totems again, and that hurts a lot. Wow, that Argus kind of destroys all of our plans.
Yeah.
So you might do my play again, or you go Cruel Taskmaster and a big Game Hunter on the Azure Drake.
I think that's by far the most optimal play.
Well, it hurts. You kind of don't want to use those 2 cards for something like that. But in my eyes, one of the only things you can do. So you can play Savannahs, but then you just take a buttload of damage. No use. You can armor up and hope for an execute. That would be okay. So you can shield block and hope for an execute. Could slam, hope for an execute. If you play Geddon, that's not cool. So either you go for shield block and see what you draw, maybe shield block slam even and see what you draw more. But in the end, I would say Taskmaster, Big Game Hunter is a good play.
Especially since
Well, he might go for double Taskmaster.
that's another option.
Well, but it would hurt so much.
But you know that the Shaman doesn't run that many minions, like only occasional Ragnaros.
But it hurts so much. It hurts so much to do this. And now you do not have the chance to do that play on a Fire Elemental. If we see a Fire Elemental next turn, he cannot do the same thing. So you're not able to be Game Hunter it away, and that could prove fatal for you.
There's always the option that he plays a Flame Tongue and buffs one of his Fire Elementals. But I think he's good enough to know that he shouldn't risk it, because every Control Warrior runs at least one Big Game Hunter.
Yeah, if you play it correct and you think about that play, you should definitely avoid getting your Fire Elementals on 8 attack. Well, Portex has 6 mana left. He just get out a totem. He can clear the board. Well, that seems to be a bit overreacty going for Lightning Storm here. Oh, but with a Flame Tongue, that's just some really nice play. He just deals... He has no big minion on the board, but he deals so much damage with what he has, actually. And what does SineX want to do? So he needs to kill the Flame Tongue totem, but he has nothing to actually kill it. And 2 Faceless Manipulators, so SineX is playing a... Well, he's playing a mid-rangey version with Karen. We saw Karen. Sylvanas at least. And 2 Faceless Manipulators. So that's a mid-rangey, slower version, since the Faceless Manipulators don't give you... Well, you can copy your Krokons or copy your enemy. But in this situation, I would prefer Brawl over 2 Faceless Manipulators. And that's why you should absolutely play one. Just imagine we had one Brawl except the Faceless Manipulator. He could kill the board except one totem and be safer than he is by now.
I think... Well, he could go for Armor of Geddon, and then if there is no more damage from Portex, he would survive with 1 HP. But you're down to 1. Like, you're not gonna get out of it. So he has to kind of shield block, draw something useful. Nice, execute, but you don't have a trigger anymore.
Correct. Draw something not so useful.
So
more or less a Zur Drake and hope for a Whirlwind to get the 2 right totems killed. That would be the only luck you could have right now. Well, that's a Leroy. Okay, a more mid-rangey version with a Leroy. But that's a funny thing with 2 facelesses actually. So you might draw the combo Leroy faceless, and you don't even you have Grimmage, but then you just launch at your enemy a Leroy, and he's totally confused. I mean, Leroy Taskmaster does 8 damage too, out of nowhere. And you can actually do it turn 6 if you want to. If you actually get it rolling with your early stuff, that's super annoying. Well, that's 4 damage, that's 3, that's 2. So if he has another spell, Rock Biter, Portex wins the first game against SineX here. But we have to admit, SineX had a really unlucky draw. So 2 facelesses, that's not cool. No execute. SineX is X'd out, Rogue or Hunter against it. Well, that's not true. Druid or Warlock. You not only mix up, just start the game. Timo, just start the freaking game.
Damn it, Timo.
Well, after this cast, we have to arrange some consequences. Everything is okay.
Talk to El Gelo.
SineX is playing a Ramp Druid versus Portex here. And his draw is... Yes. Okay.
It could be worse.
It could be worse. He's thinking about coining out his White Crows, but we talked about it. If you don't have no follow-up move, it's just freaking useless. So he just waits a turn, White Growth then, and he has an instant follow-up in form of his Keeper of the Grove. That's valuable. That's absolutely cool. Or he just plays a Raz and Hero ability. But if he coins out White Growth, his only turn 3 play is, Hero ability, and that's more or less pretty crappy. So there's the White Growth incoming. His hand is, we said it, okay, but he has 2 Mark of the Wild, 1 minion, and 1 Ancient of War.
Which will get hexed, most likely.
Which will get hexed, but not only that, he has no follow-up. So he can play his turn 4 minion if he wants to. Well, there's a Black Knight, that's good, but that's it. So he has nothing to follow up at the moment. If there's no taunt minion coming...
Would you kill the taunt or the spell damage? Because I would go for the spell damage.
You kind of need to silence the spell. Well, I would kill the spell damage.
Yeah.
Since if he plays a Flame Tongue now, you're screwed. And with the spell damage, he could deal 4 damage. But if you had killed it, you just rob him the opinion of going here crazy Flame Tongue mode. And that's always better. So if you play against a Shaman, you always need to consider those 0-3 totems. If they're silenced, they are still on the board. And if they get Flame Tongue, there are 2-3 totems. And not only that, if he plays a Defender of Argus in the middle of those 2 now, he has 2 1-3 minions. And, well, that's always better to kill a totem, even though you really don't want him to get another spell damage totem. But in total, it's just better.
Yeah, he needs to get rid of it first before he can get another spell damage totem. So I see the thought process behind it. But as you already mentioned, it's just really risky.
Absolutely. There's a 2-4 minion now for you. That's a good thing. You can trade with him. But Portex is having maybe a Lightning Bolt, but he doesn't want to use it. And there is a Flame Tank Totem. We were talking about it. And even a Stormforged Axe. So he can get rid of his own totem and kill. I mean, in the end, he could have killed your minion anyways, even with only 1 totem. But it would have turned out better for you in total.
Coin Black Knight because you lack options.
Well, you got 2 Mark of the Wilds in your hand. You kind of want to do the Black Knight combo you were talking about so often. So Mark of the Wild, Black Knight. That's why I'm saying don't go Black Knight. But it would be okay to Black Knight here.
The thing is, you want a minion on the board. And right now, Portex has all the control.
all the control with only one freaking totem. It works perfectly for him. He can just get more totems. He could just drop an Unbound, for example. SineX might have the Ancient of War, but I bet Portex is holding, if not a Hex, an Earthshock. And with an Earthshock, that's just a 5/4 minion. That's not the mighty 5/10 you want to have.
There's the Unbound.
Yeah, we're going to see an Ancient of War, most likely. Or it could also be a Sunwalker, but you want to use your 7 mana total, and then next turn play Sunwalker, but use your hero ability in addition, or a Mark of the Wild.
It should force a Hex.
I guess
If
we're
Vortex
seeing
has
Hex.
someone.
Or just the Black Knight.
Or a Black Knight.
That would
But
turn out perfect for Portex.
Not every Shaman is running the Black Knight.
Well, not every Shaman is running the Black Knight. I feel him being super useful. So some people run 2 Argent Squires, but I think 2 Argent Squires is just too much. I would only run 1. If you get him early game, absolutely nice. If you get him late game, sucks. And I prefer the Black Knight. Are we going to see a Hex for? Is he baiting us again? So it was last time we were like this too. We were thinking, okay, if he had an Hex, he would have used it by now. That's totally obvious. And it turned out to be that Portex was just trolling us and taking his time to place an Hex.
Probably talking to his dad.
But as we know, there's turn timers now in friendly matches. That's extremely useful. And he's just killing off instantly the Ancient of War. That's good for him and bad for SineX.
Keeps his board control. And has an Argent Squire, which is really good to trigger the Divine Shield, Sunwalker.
And that's like one awesome play for him. He can just get rid of the Divine Shield, then start shooting with lightning bolts or whatever at the Sunwalker. That could turn out extremely useful for Portex here. And SineX cannot kill the Taunt Totem since there is the Healing Totem. That's so annoying for him. Maybe he has a Hex now and he didn't use it last turn since he had the Silence for the 5/10. Or he's just breaking the shield. Another Rockbiter, Lightning Bolt. There's so many options. He could even have a Fire Elemental. That would already be enough.
Yep.
So many options for Portex here to deal with SineX minion. And if he has none, then he has a equally crappy draw like SineX is having.
Well, the problem for the Druid is it's really tough for him to clear the board.
And
So we talked about it again and again. We see the Fire Elemental right now. Takes the 4 damage, but the board control is completely in favor of Portex.
And as you just mentioned, the Druid cannot deal with many high HP minion. There's a swipe. So, yeah, he could swipe the 2/4 now. But better move would actually
Mark of
be...
the Wild.
Well, Mark of the Wild Big Game Hunter maybe. Or Mark of the Wild Black Knight. I would prefer Mark of the Wild
Big Game Hunter.
Big Game Hunter, since Black Knight can be done to an 4/6 Unbound too, but you would need a 5/7 Unbound to Big Game Hunter him, so he would need to play 3 spells, 3 Overload spells. And, well, I feel it being better, what we said, was a Big Game Hunter,
Yeah,
even
because
though...
you could have swiped the Unbound Elemental at the same time.
Yeah, even though the Big Game Hunter dies probably to something easier than the Black Knight. He's 4/5. That means it's just 4/2. I still would have said
Yeah,
it's better to...
I completely agree, because you can get rid of any minion with the Black Knight combo, and you can also kill Alakir,
Yeah,
which is more safe, and you would have cleared the Squire and the Unbound, which is nice.
well, he can still do it. Annoying thing now, well, Argent Command. It sucks hard, so...
You wouldn't have lost him.
Well, you would have lost your 4/2 minion. But
True,
it
true, true.
wouldn't have been as annoying as it is now.
The question is, would he run his commander into a 4/2?
This is funny now with Force of Nature. He can play it, and Mark of the Wild, one of his trees, could get everything killed. So he can kill the 0/2 totem, he can kill the 4/2 minion, and he can kill the 2/4 Unbound Elemental if he wants to. That's super funny, actually. Or he just swipe arenas. The main problem with the swipe is that healing totem is just healing up him again, and well, he lost some value. I feel still the last move would have done you a great favor.
Yeah.
But it's okay now. We talked about it. And Portex is in the lead over SineX at the moment. SineX has still the force of nature, so next turn he can still deal with everything on the board. The only annoying thing will be Portex dropping another big minion, like an Unbound. And an Argent Squire. So there are those Argent Squires being extremely annoying. He has 2 more hand cards. Maybe it's an Alakia. There's a Faces Manip, so... Well, but again, I prefer Force of Nature and maybe Mark of the Wilding, one of your trees. Well, or he plays Force of Nature, Coin, Faces Manipulator on the 4-2, and like this he could clear the 0-2 totem and Unbound plus Argent Commander.
I think that's a better play.
And that's, well, you kind of want to keep your Mark of the Wild for the big Game Hunter combo, so you don't want to use
what
it.
What is there to combo? There's only the Fire Elemental.
Well, there's one left. And it's going to be
Just
annoying.
saying.
Well, if an Alakir has a
Flame Tongue
totem beside him, you can do it too. So there's some value, and I prefer having the option of one combo in your hand than using it now for clearing, and you got a big Game Hunter completely useless roaming around. I think Force of Nature, Coin, Faceless on the Argent Commander is more or less the safest play here. He needs to do something now, or he's screwed.
He has to hurry up.
Yeah, he's kind of not taking that thing serious. Well, there's enough time left, but it would be extremely annoying if he just if he does it too late and then the option is away. And that's what I said. It's so nice to see people actually getting under time pressure. Everyone can do a perfect move in 5 minutes, but can you do a perfect move in 90 seconds too? And that's really important for the esport and for the tournament scene and for casting also, since we heard it from Kiparian once. If you watched on his YouTube, he casted those DreamHack matches, and in the finals there were like some hour-long matches because people took like 1 bazillion hours. It was about a big amount of money, so sure, you take your time, but if you cannot take your time, you're pretty screwed.
There we see. Mana Tide. He needs to deny it.
This turned pretty well for SineX. If he drops his Ancient of War now and there's no
Hex,
Sex, Silence, whatever, it looks super good. He can actually clear a 1-1 totem too. I hope he clears the 1-1 totem. That could turn out fatal for him. If he cleared the 1-1 totem, he now if there is I don't know, is Silence for example incoming, he could just kill the Argent Commander. I guess I would have cleared the 1-1 totem. That Divine Shield is not going to break your face. And it's looking grim for Portex here. He kind of needs an instant hex. Well, instant hex. There we have it. And another Argent Commander. This is super good. He clears the board. He might have considered keeping his Divine Shield alive.
And so go for the trade with the 2 small minions. Yep.
Yeah, I think that could have been better. If there is now Keeper of the Grove incoming the second one, you just lose your minion to that stupid Starfall. I don't know. It's okay to do what he did, but I would have preferred something else. And he gets a Druid of the Claw here for SineX. So
kill the totem. Obvious choice. You don't want to have a taunt totem against you.
Never ever you want to have a taunt totem against you.
So you want to, obviously, you want to reduce the chances. Oh.
That's some nice 6/6 minion. But there's one more Flame Tongue for Portex, if I'm not mistaken.
And a Fire Elemental.
And 1 Fire Elemental. So, and we haven't seen
Lightning Bolt.
Any Lightning Bolt. We have seen 1 Lightning Storm, if I'm correct. Well, it could have been last game. I'm not entirely sure.
I don't think we've seen a Lightning Storm,
so
but I'm not 100%
There are so many cards for Port, and even Alakir. Just Alakir kill that minion. Well, Defend of Argus is enough to. That's some crazy stuff he drops out here. And SineX only has his big game hunter.
Needs Ancient of Lore.
Well, Ragnaros is turning out to be extremely useful too. So if
I smell a big game hunter.
you smell a big game hunter, the 2 cards in Portex hand he's quite keeping
Faceless.
for some ages. Well, Faceless, a big game hunter would be okay for SineX, but Faceless would butt hurt if it hits his Ragnaros, if it hits his face also. Or is he just... Is that
What?
That feels like that's... Oh, he didn't use an hex on the Ancient of War.
Yeah,
and
he
not on
shocked it.
Yeah, not on the Sunwalker too. So I was extremely sure we don't have an hex left. I was like, fuck, why does he have 3 hex? What just happened?
Arena.
This is when casting goes wrong.
It's fine.
Okay, he has finally his Keeper of the Grove, and the problem is he needs to silence the Auctioneer to diminish card draw. But if he silences the Auctioneer,
Can't get rid of the totem.
yeah, he can't get rid of nothing. So,
What? 2 damage? I would have silenced it.
well, in the end, it's almost the same. But
Well,
as
well,
we
you could have killed the 1/1 Flame Tongue.
But if you do it that way, Flame Tongue Totem danger again on
And
the
not Flame Tongue, I mean the Fire Totem.
No, I just
Searing.
say
Yeah, I know.
if there's a Flame Tongue incoming,
But you have the Flame Tongue danger regardless.
yes. So you
with
cannot,
2 minions on the board.
you cannot change that anyway. And he's drawing so many cards. This is the danger of a Shaman in late game. He doesn't even need to have 1 bazillion spells. It's 1 spell per turn, and if it gets running once, you're pretty screwed. And well, this looks like SineX getting crushed 2-0 by Portex.
Another big game hunter.
Well, 2 big game hunters is extremely good against
Control warrior.
Handlock.
Yep, stuff
But
like that.